Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos. It's because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more and you need a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband, Evan Carmichael. This is the secret ingredient to living your truth. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Take immediate action.
Most people aren't happy in life because they're living somebody else's truth. You're not living your truth, you're living somebody else's version of it. Your parents, your family, your culture, your society, you're living somebody else's version of it. And so you're never happy because you never explored it. You never picked at it. You never found out what you could be. And you settled for something less than what you're capable of. You know you're capable of more. You may not know what the thing is that you should be doing, but you know it's not this thing right in front of you. I can't tell you how many people I've met on this tour who have that story to share. I had a woman whose father told her that women should not be doing any kind of entrepreneurial ventures, that women are meant to be teachers. And so she spent 15 years being a teacher before having the courage to jump off and start her own business. And now she has a multi-million-dollar construction business. I had a girl come up in Albuquerque, where I am right now, who studied for years to be an accountant. Why? Because her mom was an accountant. And so her mom made her go study to become an accountant. And she didn't know what she wanted to do. So she said, okay, great. Yeah, I'll be an accountant. She just graduated and realized, I don't want to be an accountant. This isn't for me. It's easy. It's the path that my parents took. Like, it's great for me to get into it. I can get easy money. You know, my mom said, I'll like it when the money starts coming in, but money's coming in and I don't like it. I want to do something else. I know I'm meant for something greater. And so she told her mom, I don't want to do this. I want to learn how to be a management consultant and I'm going to go back to school. That takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of courage. Most people do not have that courage. Most people do not have the courage to stand up to their parents and say, I don't want this life. It doesn't mean you have to hate them. You have to attack them. You have to tell them they're wrong. This is for you. You don't want that life. Most people never have that courage. And the story that comes to mind for me is Accio Morita. And use this as motivation, as wisdom. If you are trying to battle your parents or your culture, your friends or your society, remember Accio Morita. He started Sony. Now he came from 11 or 12 generations of sake brewers, Japanese background. The Japanese culture is super family oriented, and the oldest always takes over the family business. The oldest has to follow in line with what the family was doing. And so he was expected to take over the sake business. And it's not just one generation. You're talking 11 or 12 generations in a Japanese society. And he said, I don't want to do this. I want to start my own business, a technology company, at a time when Japan was known for super low quality products. This is the man who put Japan on the map for high quality products. That products coming out of Japan meant something, was a stamp of quality because of Accio Morita. And he went on to build one of the most successful brands in the world, Sony. But it starts with having the courage to say, that's not my life, that's not my truth, that's your truth. And it's out of love. Your parents love you, your friends love you, your society, your community, they love you. It's not out of hate. It's very few parents who say, do this because you're gonna suffer. You know, it's out of love. They just have a different version of it. Their world is different. They don't understand the world that you're growing up in. And so you have to have the courage to go off and start your truth. The challenging part, though, is it's uncertain. You don't know what it looks like. You haven't started. And so here's what I call the 2% difference. This is the secret to moving forward. As soon as you get an idea, you get an idea for something, trust that idea. Trust that idea that it's actually the right thing for you. Because what we typically do, you get an idea and then your brain talks you down from doing it. Your brain says, well, you're not talented enough, you haven't gone to school, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources. It talks you down from doing that big crazy thing. I believe that idea came to you for a reason and you need to trust it and go take action on it. Even though it doesn't make sense. You're trying to solve a matter of the heart with your head. You can't logically think your way through how you're going to feel about something. You can't. You can't think your way through if you're going to like sushi or not. You can't think your way through if you're going to love somebody or not. You can't. Similarly, in finding your truth, finding your passion, finding your calling, you cannot think your way through it. You have to feel it. And so the starting point is going off and doing it. And as soon as you get that idea, while you're feeling bold, while you're feeling inspired, to go off and take some kind of action. I call it the 2% difference. Don't worry about trying to get to 100%. Don't worry about planning and strategizing and figuring it out and thinking. That's what most of us do. You get an idea, you think, you start thinking, right? You plan. How do I get to that 100%? No, you've lost, because you're going to wake up tomorrow a different person, because you're going to go home today, plan, and wake up tomorrow a different person, and then not take action because you're scared. Because your brain will start talking you down from that crazy big idea. Your brain will talk you down from going off and living your truth. That's what's going to happen. That's what always happens. And so while you're feeling the energy and the momentum, you got to take some action. Instead of planning how to get to 100% of the way, you take action immediately on getting 2% of the way. 2%, the 2% difference. Go from 0 to 2%. If you can't take immediate momentum to getting 2% of the way, you will never get to 100%. You have an idea to make a YouTube channel. Great, go make a video right now, today, ASAP, the 2% difference. Make your first video right now with your cell phone. What most people will do is start researching, right? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to wear? What's my hair going to look like? What camera do I need to get? What phone do I need to get, right? What's my lighting going to be? What microphone? Think, and then never do. Because you're a perfectionist. You're going to perfect your way out of ever living your truth. The beginning is messy. It's supposed to be messy. Go off and get your 2% difference towards finding and living your truth. Quick example, my story. I'm here in Albuquerque, New Mexico right now. I was walking down a beautiful summer day last year, and I decided that I was going to take Nina to every city in North America with 1 million plus people. Every city in North America, 1 million plus people. That was my decision. Great. What's my first step? Action. The 2% difference. So it's not, here's what most people do. It's not go home and research how many cities there are. It's not go home and make a plan for how we're going to do this. There's lots of reasons why it's not going to work. Nina still had a full-time job. I had no idea how many cities there were. I had no idea what the next step was going to be. Just do something. Immediate action. And so I thought right away, 5 seconds later, here's my goal. Great. 5 seconds later, this weekend, let's hit one city. Boston. Nina had never been to Boston, so I thought Boston was the closest city to Toronto. It wasn't. Pittsburgh actually was. And on my tour, the people in Pittsburgh told me, they let me know that Pittsburgh is closer. But it doesn't matter. This weekend, we're going to go to Boston. It was a Wednesday that I decided, and on Friday night, we were leaving for Boston. Boom, I hit 2%. Just 50 cities, we're going to hit one this weekend. We're going to get 2% of the way done. On the way back from Boston, we decided to do this tour that I'm on right now. And now we're going to hit 50% of the cities on my list. Momentum. That's the thing that's missing, momentum, because you're trying to be perfect. You're trying to fully understand your truth, but you can't think your way through your truth. You have to experience it and feel it. And the starting point is a 2% difference. So take whatever idea that you have and train yourself. I want to burn this into your nervous system. This is one of the most important things you can do of all time. As soon as you get an idea, action, idea, action, idea, action. The more you can shortcut that window, instead of taking a week to take action or a day to take action, immediate, 5 seconds, idea, boom, some kind of 2% action, and expect it not to be perfect, expect it not to be the best plan. My plan was wrong, right? Pittsburgh was closer. In my head, I thought it was Boston. We went down the wrong path, but the momentum is what matters. And now we're 50% of the way. And now I'm going to close that gap and get the rest of it. The 2% difference. Go find your truth.
Rule number 2, take risks.
Most people are so afraid of losing that they don't even try. You'd rather stay average because going for greatness means you might fail. Adopt this mindset. It's better to know and to fail than not to know. All of your heroes failed on their path to success, and if you are unwilling to risk failure for greatness, you will stay on your exact same path that you're on right now. So I was recently faced with an impossible choice where I didn't know the outcome, where two people who I respected told me opposite bits of advice, and it was around splitting up my YouTube channel. I have had my YouTube channel, my main one, for over 10 years. It's crazy, 10 years of creating content. I got up to making 3 videos a day on my main channel. I get on a call with Matt Geelan, who's one of 4 people in the world who, if they gave me advice on YouTube, I would really strongly, deeply think about it. I respect him and 3 other people that much. And he told me, Evan, you need to split up your channel. Evan, doing 3 videos a day on the same channel hurts you, and you should split it up into multiple channels. That was an impossible choice. I mean, for me, it was scary. It was difficult. I don't know the outcome. So I asked some other friends of mine, somebody else in the top 4, and he says that is the biggest mistake you could make. Don't do it. It's a huge mistake for your channel. It'll hold you back. So now what do? There's 4 people in the world whose opinions I respect and trust on this one topic. And 2 of them are giving me exact opposite advice. What do I do? For me, the decision was easy. The action was difficult. It was tough, but we do tough things, right? We're entrepreneurs. Here's my decision-making process. I would rather know and fail than not know. Going my current course of making 3 videos a day on one channel, I know what that looks like. I'm liking my success, I'm liking my growth, but splitting up my channels and going down to 1 video a day on my main channel, I didn't know if that would work. And if I don't try, I'll never know. So even though one person I really respect tells me it's the biggest mistake of my life, it may be. It may be the worst decision that I ever make in my YouTube career, but I won't know unless I try. And I would rather live my life without regrets, knowing that I got the information instead of being afraid to act. And so I split it up. And listen, right now, it's actually not working. Right now, the views on my main channel are down. The subscribers on my main channel are down. The amount of money I make from my main channel is down. And my other channels like this one haven't grown enough to combat it, to replace it. But I'm still soldiering on. I'm still continuing down this path. Now, if it's a year and it's still the same thing, okay, maybe I have to go back to my old strategy, but at least I would know. And so you can look at that and say, well, you lost all that opportunity. Yeah, I made a mistake, but I would rather know and fail than not know. Because if you only take safe bets, if you only take the bets that you know you're gonna win at with 100% certainty, then you play small for life. Then you're only gonna take on the projects that there's 0 risk of failure at, which means you stay in this tiny circle. I don't wanna live in a tiny circle. I wanna change the world. I wanna have a huge impact that comes with a great deal of failure, just like all your heroes. So I'm living it right now. This video speaks to me and hopefully we come out on the other side, but if not, we'll go back to what we were doing because it's not fatal. So I have a 3-step process that I want you to follow right now to take some action and not just watch another video. Step number 1, what impossible choice is in front of you right now? What's a super difficult decision that you're trying to figure out right now where you don't know if this is gonna work or this is gonna work? People are telling you to do different things and you have uncertainty around it. What is that one choice for you? Number 2, which would you regret more if you don't do it? So look at your 2 options. I could do A or B. Which would you regret more if you don't do it? So for me, if I did not split up my channel, I would regret it. I would regret not knowing. I would regret not knowing, so I had to go off and do it. It made the decision easy. Doesn't mean that doing the steps is easy. Emotionally, it's very difficult, but the path was clear and that I had to go off and do it. So between your 2 choices, which one would you regret more if you don't do it? And number 3, how can you make it not fatal and limit the downside? So if you take that choice that you're afraid to do, that you might regret if you never try, how do you make it not fatal? So that if it totally goes to crap, if it's 0, you get no results, it's negative, you spend all this time on something that doesn't work out, how do you make it so it's not fatal for you? How do you limit the downside? I still have my main channel. It's not gonna go as well as potentially all these other channels, right? It'd be better if everything was combined, potentially, but I still have my main channel, right? Whatever choice is in front of you, how do you just get started? Don't go out and necessarily take on a huge loan, mortgage the house a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th time, right? Start with your energy, your hustle, your drive, your ambition. How do you make it so that you just get started, you limit the downside, and if it doesn't work out, it's not fatal. You can still move on with your life.
Rule number 3, make no excuses.
Successful people don't make excuses. Successful people don't complain. If you look at whoever you want to look up to, look at the most successful people in the world in any industry, look at the top and look at how much they complain. They don't complain. When you complain, when you blame something else, when it's the government's fault or interest rates' fault or the bad economy's fault or your partner who screwed you over or the customers who don't care, as long as you can blame somebody else, right? The education system, your parents, your friends, your upbringing, there's always somebody else to blame. And when you blame somebody else, when you're in that mindset, then you never grow. You're making things easy on yourself. It allows you to coast. It allows you to play life super safe because it's not your fault that you're not more successful. Of course, it's not your fault. That would be difficult. That would be hard. It's somebody else's fault. So you can just stay where you are because people are holding you back from accomplishing the thing that you want to accomplish. Where successful people take responsibility for where they are in life. And they say, I don't care about the government. I don't care who's president. I don't care about regulations that you have or things that you're holding me back on. I will still go out and get mine. And of course, there are other factors. Of course, the country you come from matters. Of course, the education you had and the connections you had growing up, of course it matters. But so what? You have to play the hand that you were dealt. You have these cards. You have to play those cards and you can have success. One of the things I love looking at, and this is why I do all these profiles, is successful, famous entrepreneurs. There is always somebody who has done way more than you have done with way fewer resources than you already have. So no matter what terrible situation that you have, and I'm empathetic. Maybe you come from a broken home. Maybe you have a really severe disability that's physically holding you back from doing some of the things you want to do. You know, maybe there's a lot of pressure on you. Maybe you have some disease. Maybe you have zero money in your bank account. These are real pressures, and I'm empathetic to that. But so what? The longer you believe that those things are gonna hold you where you are, then they will. There are people who have worse conditions, less money, are in worse situations, and they came out of it and accomplished amazing things because they believed that they could. And if somebody looks like you, has gone on and accomplished big things, then you can too. And it only happens when you accept responsibility for where you are in life.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below. Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
Successful people take responsibility for where they are in life.
One, to get a little bit more credibility. If you're just getting started, people may not know you. There's still a little bit of a cachet around having a book with a major publisher.
Rule number 4, stop complaining.
Your entire life changes when you decide to take responsibility for where you're at, for your happiness, for your success, for where you're at in life. When you decide that I am responsible, everything changes. We don't want to because it's easier to blame somebody else. It's easier to blame somebody else. We don't want to blame the person in the mirror. We don't want to blame ourselves. It's somebody else's fault, right? It's Nina's fault that I'm not happy. Where are you, Nina?
Blame yourself.
It's Nina's fault that I'm not happy, right? It's so good to put the blame on somebody else because that means I don't have to do anything. But when you take the personal responsibility, when I say it's my fault that I'm not happy, it's my fault that I'm not more successful. It's not my team's fault that my company's not blowing up as big as I wanted to. It's my fault. I need to get better. It's not my trainer's fault that I'm not getting results in the gym. It's my fault, right? I got to eat better. I got to work out more. It's my fault. It's your fault. You are where you are because of you. And when you accept that, then you choose to now live a life of being able to make progress. Most people don't want to do that. Most people would rather consume entertainment instead of education. Most people would rather consume entertainment and sit down and watch Netflix and forget about their crappy life than try to fix it. Most channels on YouTube that blow up are not education related, they're entertainment because people want to shut up their life, shut up their brain, and just be entertained instead of trying to actually fix the problem. If you're a subscriber here, you're probably on the education side, but are you the kind of person who's going to take responsibility and fix your life? Or just shut up the world, blame, complain, wait till you can't have that next vacation, you can't wait till that next weekend or the evenings are coming up because your life sucks. Your life sucks. Is it your fault or is it somebody else's? When you take ownership, that's when life starts to change. And so how do you do it? Great, take ownership, take responsibility. How do you do it? How do you get happier? How do you get more success? What are the steps? What do I have to do? I'll give you a 3-step process. Follow this, it'll change your life. Step number 1, take the mirror test. You go up to a mirror. Go up to the mirror, go in your bathroom, kitchen, living room. Kitchen's kind of weird. Do you have a mirror? Do we have a mirror in our kitchen? No. Living room, bathroom, closet. Find a mirror and ask yourself, why are you not happy? Why are you not more happy? Why are you not more successful? Why are you not whatever? Whatever the biggest negative in your life, why? If the answer comes back that it's somebody else, you need to fix it. You have to keep asking the question. Okay, it's not my wife's fault. It's not my friend's fault. It's not my parents' fault. It's not the president's fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not my school teacher's fault. Why?
and it has to be something here. It's got to be something with you. You're not happy because it's something you are thinking, because of the story in your head, because of your mindset, your actions. You keep asking the question why you are not happy until it comes back to you. And then you're going to uncover some scary truth. You're going to uncover some story about yourself. And listen, we all have something. Guys, we all have something. There's something we don't like about ourselves. It's okay. Own it. This is the thing that we're going to work on. This is your path. This is your salvation. This is how you fix things. So step number 1 is take the mirror test to figure out what the heck the thing is that is making you so unhappy, or is blocking you from having success in your business. What is it? You got to get to an answer, and it's got to be all about you somehow. Step number 2 is then create your own 254. So it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. It's why I started the 254 Confidence, Black Excellence, Writer Wisdom series, and I want to do more. But I can only do so much. You need to create your own 254. And what I mean by that is you need to now surround yourself with the kind of people, resources, knowledge, information, motivation of that thing that you need to work on. So example, if you need to work on having more belief in your life, then my channel is a great place to be. You should watch a video every single day. You will get more belief in yourself. It will just happen. You take the mirror test, and the answer is, I don't believe in myself enough. That's why I'm not happy. That's why I'm not more successful. Great. I need to surround myself with belief every single day, because chances are you don't have people who believe in you enough. It's just not in your environment. So you need to inject that in. You need to inject it into your daily routine. Watch a video every single day. Great. If it's something else, my channel may not be the right fit for you, but you can get it somewhere else. Whatever you need, whatever that answer is, self-care, self-love, whatever that answer is, then you need to find a way to create your own 254 around that thing, where every day for the next 254 days, maybe for life, you inject it into yourself. You watch a video, you read a book, you listen to a podcast, you have an interview, you do a phone call, whatever it is, every single day. You repeat that habit over and over and over and over again, and it will seep into you, and you will slowly lose that thing. And that thing that has been holding you back for your entire life will now allow you to move forward and actually be happy and actually go after your success. So you take the mirror test. And then 2, you create your own 254 around the thing that you need to work on. And then step number 3 is take immediate action. Just thinking about it, just witnessing it is not enough. Action, action. Think about it for the next 24 hours. What could you do? What could you do today? You're watching this video. After this, you want to develop this skill set, this mindset, this new belief system. That's what you need to work on. You know this thing is holding you back and is limiting you. What are you going to do right now? Just start building some action and momentum towards it. Get out of your head, stop thinking, stop planning, and just do something. I call it the 2% difference. Don't worry about how you're going to get to 100% perfect. You'll never get there anyway. Don't worry about that. Don't plan all the way, because you keep planning, tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're a different person. You're back to your old self. You need immediate momentum. You need action. So take any idea that you have. You want to be a more belief person? Great. What can you do right now to believe in yourself more? What can you do? What makes your heart go like this? What are you scared of doing? What idea first comes into mind? That idea was given to you for a reason. Do it. ASAP, right now. Commit to somebody. Take that action. Not just researching, not just planning, immediate action. Build momentum. Teach yourself that you're the kind of person who now follows through, who when you get an idea, you take some action on it. Follow that 3-step process. You're unhappy in life? You want more success in life? Take the mirror test. Figure out deep inside you why you're the problem, what you're doing that's limiting yourself. 2, create your own 254 so that you are around it daily, so that when you're around successful people who have the skill, the mindset, the belief system that you need, it seeps into you because you're around it every single day. And then 3, action, momentum, immediately, today, do something. Start showing yourself that you are capable of being that person. Accept responsibility for your life, and you will change your life dramatically for the better.
Rule number 5, take ownership of your life.
You already know what you want to do. You're letting the opinions of other people get in the way of you taking action. People are not afraid of failing. They're afraid of failing in front of other people. You will sing all day in the shower, but you won't get on the street corner and sing because you're embarrassed of the judgment. And what you need to do is inoculate yourself against the judgment and learn to take action on your ideas, because the alternative is a life filled with regret. You have to decide at what point are you going to take ownership for where you are in life. Like, at what point do you decide my goals, my ideas, my dreams, my ambitions are important enough to me that I'm willing to risk failure. I'm willing to risk embarrassment. I'm willing to risk having to go tell my friends that it didn't work out because this is my path. Because otherwise, I never get to do the thing that I want to do. At what point are you going to decide to step up and say, I need to do this for me? I need to know. It may not work out. I may be embarrassed, but I need to know. I don't want the rest of my life to sit around wondering, what if, what if, what if? So it's really important to listen to the universe, but then you have to take action. You got to do something about it. And I got a 3-step process that I think is going to help you. It's audit, act, adjust. Audit, act, adjust. So let's start with audit. Audit is listening. Audit is paying attention. Maybe you hear the whispers. Maybe you get hit with a brick in the face. You are listening. You are paying attention. Whatever the thing is that helps you find that spot. I think too many of us are so overstimulated constantly, right? We're like reaching for our phone any minute of downtime. We're on our phone playing Heyday or whatever the game is, checking in on a social media network. Like, when is your time to audit, to reflect, to think, to connect? Building that in, learning to, when you're walking down the street, just walk down the street and think and reflect. Like, build in maybe an evening walk to just digest what happened that day. Whether it's on the weekend, you're going to go hang out at a Starbucks or go out in nature or make meditation part of your practice. If you are constantly on the go, and on the go doesn't mean working. Like, people often will pull out their phones and play a game as a way to de-stress and unwind and relax. But it means your brain is always on. You need to have time built into your day consistently where you can just reflect, where you can audit, where the ideas can flow to you, and you can start building a list of the things that you want to try and test for the life that you want to build for yourself. Audit. Next is act. You got to act. You got to do something. I have the 5-95 rule. You spend 5% of your time thinking, strategizing, planning, and then 95% of your time doing. Most people flip it. Most people spend all their time just thinking and planning and strategizing and writing the business plan and then another business plan and then adjusting and tweaking that business plan. You will not figure things out sitting on the couch. You have to do, you have to get out, you need to act. The best thing that you can do is take the list of ideas that you have. Take everything that you came up with in the audit section and do something on it. Find the smallest possible way to get started and test it. If one of your ideas is build a YouTube channel, make YouTube videos, don't make it complicated. Like today, take out your phone, record yourself making a video and post it. Expect it to be absolute garbage. It's okay. Did you enjoy the process? Do you want to go back to it? You can't think your way through these things. You can think of the idea, but it's the feeling that you get by acting that dictates the momentum and ultimately whether you would get results or not. So the 5-95 rule, find the smallest possible way to get started on the ideas that you have, the smallest possible way to do something today, and then spend 95% of your time actually doing and only 5% of your time strategizing, planning, and thinking about it. And then the third A is adjust. This is where people get it wrong. Life, success is not about hitting it right the first time. You will not hit it right the first time. It's about trying, it's about acting and then adjusting. You make a plan, you do the plan, you act on the plan, and then you adjust. The plan you start with is never going to be the plan you end up with. That's where the success will come. It's the ability to adjust your initial idea and then change it and make it better. Lamborghini started selling tractors. Wrigley started selling baking soda and soap and moved to gum. BMW started selling airplanes. That's why their logo is a propeller and moved to cars. You adjust. You have a plan. You have a great idea. Every idea that I come up with, I think is genius. I launch it. I find some small way to act on it and then adjust. Adjust. So many people are so concerned about building the perfect plan, the perfect product, the perfect service, but really it's just a front. It's just an insecurity because you're afraid. And the cure, the way through, is to audit, to act, and adjust.
Rule number 6, raise your standards.
Expecting excellence starts with you expecting excellence from yourself. People want to work for people who they aspire to be like. If someone excellent is working for you, but they have higher standards than you do, they will eventually leave you. Your company's limit is your standards. So I look at Alex as an example, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. I invested into the company a number of years ago. I became the 100% owner in it, and then I'm training Alex to run it. One of the things that Alex had an issue was showing up on time. He had low standards for himself of being on time. If you said be here at 10 o'clock, he would be here at 10:15 or 10:20, and that just became what he was known for. Everybody knew Alex as the guy who didn't follow through, who came late to things, and that was Alex. Great. Some people are willing to put up with it. Some people will tolerate it because they like his energy, his enthusiasm, his fun, his bravado. They like it, and they have low standards for themselves. But high achievers, people who have high standards, that would drive them nuts. And people would leave the business. People would not want to work with them. People would want to go somewhere else because their standards are higher than the person that they're supposed to be working for. Nobody wants to be in that situation. You do not want to work for somebody who has lower standards than you do. And so the challenge became, Alex, we need to raise your standards. You need to start showing up not just on time, but early. For him now, it's 10 minutes early. So if he said he's gonna be here at 10, that means you're there at 9:50. You're there at 10 to 10. You have to be. So you're late. If you show up at 10 o'clock for Alex, his own standards, not somebody else. If you're showing up at 10 o'clock and you say you're gonna be there at 10 o'clock, he's late to himself. That's a starting point. And as his standards have risen, so have the people underneath his team who are willing to follow him. As your standards rise, as you care more about yourself and what you're doing and what you will no longer accept and tolerate, then the people who are working for you, their standards rise as well. And you're able to now attract a much wider pool because they want to level up. People want to be around you, yes, for your mission, but they want to level up. It's your responsibility to help people level up. And so if you're only at this point, as soon as somebody gets here, they're leaving. But as you can go here, then you can attract a lot of people underneath who want to level up, and they're going to learn from you, not just the knowledge, but the abilities, the mindset, the hustle, the energy, the drive that you pour into your business will be an inspiration to other people when you raise your own standards. So I'm going to give you a 3-step process you can follow right now to raise your standards, to demand excellence of yourself. Step number 1, figure out, where do you want to be excellent? What's the thing that you want to be excellent at? What's next? Is it for your consistency? Do you want to wake up earlier in the morning? Do you want to make sure you're working out every day? Do you want to make sure you're showing up on time or early? Do you want to be known as the person who gets things done? Like where? There's so many areas in your life that you can probably raise your standards. What is the most important one to you right now? Number 2, you put it in your calendar. Standards and success come from habits. It's from what you consistently do. You are what you consistently do, not what you do in these one-off moments. It has to be in your calendar. What is the thing that you want to get excellent at? You want to raise your standards in, and then show me in your calendar. Show yourself in your calendar. Where are you spending the time to get better at that thing? So if it's going to the gym, working out, great. Where is that in your calendar? Put that in your calendar. Are you waking up at an early enough time to go off and do it? If it's showing up early to meetings, like it was for Alex, great. Put it in your calendar. You need to buffer time to travel. You need to buffer time in case there's traffic. You need to buffer time in case some emergency comes up. You should aim to be there 30 minutes early. So then if you're there 10 minutes early, it's okay, right? You're not late. And if you show up at 10, you are late. Show it to yourself in your calendar. And then step number 3 is surround yourself with it. Whatever the thing is that you want to learn, the more that you are around it, the more it's going to seep into you. If you want to learn how to have belief, my channel is the best thing in the world, right? Any of my channels is the best thing in the world because you are around people who believe. And so if you want to have more belief in yourself and what you're working on, subscribe to my channel and watch the videos. If you just watch the videos and you just pay attention, over time, it'll seep in. It's unavoidable. What you surround yourself with is what you become. So you have a choice now. You didn't have a choice when you're born. You don't have a choice of your parents. You don't have a choice of your upbringing or the country or the religion or language or anything else. All the things that you may see as potential hindrances to you or the people in your community. You don't have a choice, but you can choose what you consume. You can choose how you're going to learn. And so whatever the thing is that you want more of in your life, find a way to attract it more into your life. Create your own 254 program. I have a 254 series around confidence, around self-love, around girl boss, women entrepreneurs, around writers. If you want to write a book and you're struggling to be a writer, and you subscribe to the 254 Writer's Wisdom, it's free. You will get a message every single morning from J.K. Rowling, from Stephen King, from super successful writers. If you just watch that video every day for 254 days, you will become a more successful writer. You just will, because you're hanging out virtually with successful writers. So you need to create your own 254 program. My goal is eventually to have thousands of these, but I don't yet. Create your own. I look at Wim Hof, who does the cold breathing, ice baths, totally changed my life. Haven't gotten sick really since taking his method on. But it's easy to forget if people around you aren't doing cold baths, they're not breathing, you're this weird duck doing this crazy thing, you're gonna lose your motivation. And so what should you do? You wanna be more like Wim Hof? Great. Subscribe to Wim Hof's YouTube channel. Subscribe to his newsletter. Subscribe to his followers who also have their own YouTube channels. Every day consume something that talks about having cold showers and breathing, and it'll become part of what you are. The more you are around it, the more it'll become who you are. And so you need to create your own version of a 254 program where every day you are consuming content to be like the people that you aspire to be. Take on that belief system that you want to take on, to raise your standards and demand excellence from yourself in the thing that you want to be excellent in.
Rule number 7, the last one before our very special bonus clip, endure hardships.
Being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. Whether you go all in financially or not, you're gonna go all in emotionally. And a lot of people, they can't cut it. They can't get the calluses fast enough, and so they quit. That's gonna be one of the biggest tests for you as you get off and build your business. Do you have the mental fortitude to keep going, keep driving, keep building your business in the face of all obstacles? It's the ultimate endurance test. It's the ultimate test to see what you're made of. When I first started my company, I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't think it would be this hard. You never think it's going to be as hard as it actually is. I was making $300 a month. I turned down $100,000 a year, 6 figures, working for my dream job company to make $300 a month and own 30% of a company. I eat beans for lunch every day. The same bean salad for lunch, mixed beans with olive oil and herbs and garlic and salt and a little pepper, because it was cheap and it would fill me up. And when I wanted to splurge, I would go to the store and get the chunky Campbell's soup clam chowder. It was a little bit more expensive, but would also fill me up. When we went to celebrate a win, we would go to McDonald's and get a McDonald's French fries, large fries, and share it between the 3 of us because that's what we could afford. Couldn't afford the whole meal. And even to this day, the smell of McDonald's French fries means victory for me. It's the most unhealthy thing in the world, but it still means victory for me. I made it even harder on myself in that I isolated myself and I didn't tell my friends that I was struggling. I had to pick one thing a month that I could go to, one friendly, social pizza and beer kind of thing per month, because that $20 I didn't have, because I'm only making $300 a month. So I isolated myself. I turned inwards. I was too embarrassed and ashamed to tell my friends who are off making $80,000, $100,000 a year, starting salary at a university, and I'm making $300 a month. I was too embarrassed and ashamed. And so I told them, I'm hustling, I'm living the entrepreneur life, I'm grinding, but really, I was struggling. I had no idea what I was doing. This thing was tearing me apart. And it got to the point where I actually quit on my business partner. I told him I quit. It's easy to quit on something and not get results when you know that you're not putting in the effort. But I was putting in the effort every single day, showing up to my business partner's dining room table because everything else was too small in his place to fit us. Putting in the effort every single day, trying to build and grow this business, and it wasn't working. I felt worthless as a human. Like, why are we not getting results? When will we start to get results? And I was fed up and tired, and I told him I quit. Like, I need to find a way to be useful, to feel valuable as a human. And so I told him I quit. And then I woke up the next day and said I can't quit because I haven't given it everything that I've got. And so there's a 2-step process that saved me, that I hope will save you if you're feeling down and out and it's tough and you're not getting results. The first step is use regret to fuel you. I imagine my life at 100, looking back on this moment, saying, would I regret quitting? It's very rarely the things that you do that you regret, it's the things that you don't do. So would I regret not continuing? Would I regret not giving it my all? And I try to adopt the mantra that I would rather know and fail than not know. I would rather know and fail than not know. So I had to see this through. Even if the answer was total failure, even if it never worked out, I had to see it all the way through just to know, because otherwise that regret would eat me up. And so number one, use regret. When you're struggling, when it's not working out, when you're not getting results, imagine yourself being 100 years old looking back and saying, if you quit now, if you stop, if you don't keep going, will you regret it? Number two is model success. The next thing that saved me was I asked myself that next morning after I quit and then decided I need to go back because I can't live with regret. I asked myself, who has done this before? Who has built a software company up? I can't be the only person who's tried to do this. And I looked at Bill Gates, who started Microsoft, and not how he makes an extra $1 million now, but 0 to 1. How did he do that? How did that happen? I studied his success. I modeled his success. I applied it to my company and pretty shortly got my first deal for $13,500. That may not seem like a lot of money, but to me back then, it was hitting the lottery. I'm making $300 a month. Now I just made a deal for $13,500. That was hope. That was real. That was putting money in my bank account. That was being able to have a full meal at McDonald's. And more important, it gave me a model that I could do again and again and again. I closed another deal and another deal and another deal. And our business started to take off. And ever since, that was 20 years ago, I used the same two-step process. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and just get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through on your goals. That's not good enough. No, not for you, Believe Nation. We gotta do something. But when you write it down and you create a specific plan of action for the next week, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like leaving a comment on this video, it jumps to 95%. You need to follow through on your goals. So what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your specific plan of action for the next week? Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you. People put too much faith in the tools. It's not about the tools. It's not about the tools that you're using. It's not about the suit that you're wearing. It's not about the car that you're driving. It's about you. At the end of the day, it comes down to you. I was asked to do a roundup of different entrepreneurs of what your favorite tool was to help you build your business. And they asked me and they asked 30 other people, what is the tool that you love most that helps drive your business forward? And I was the only one who didn't want to give a tool. Everybody listed their tools, and I was at the end of the day, I was posted at the very bottom, the tools don't matter. Stop blaming the tools. And tools are important. Don't get me wrong. I love using tools. I think YouTube's a great tool. I think cameras are a great tool. I use tools every single day in my business to help spread my message and help my company grow. But it's not the reliance on the tools. This is where I think a lot of people fall down. I had an entrepreneur friend of mine come to me and says, what tools do you use for your calendar? How do you keep track of your to-dos? Because she had tried using a notebook and using Evernote and using OneNote and using all sorts of different tools, using her phone, everything. And nothing was working. It's like, you know what? The problem is not the tools. The problem is you, right? The tools can help you go faster, but if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the ambition, if you don't have the drive, if you're not putting in the work, then the tools will never save you. And I think people have an over-reliance on the tools, and that's my biggest problem with it. The tools can help you do that last 20%, but it's 80% you. It's 80% the hustle and the hard work to get really good at the thing, and the tool can help you go further. I see tools as like pouring gasoline on a fire. You need to have a spark. You need to have a fire to get something going, and then the tool, the gasoline, can help it explode. But if you just pour gasoline on wood, nothing's gonna happen. I think the same thing about suits and cars. I think a lot of people think you wear a suit, now you're gonna be successful. A suit doesn't mean anything. Clothing is an expression of self, not a place where you get your self-worth. Somebody with no suit on could go in and close a sale because they are who they are. They are confident they can close that sale, where somebody who's only deriving confidence from their suit will never win. And so, yes, tools are important, but stop relying on the tools. Get so darn good at the thing that you're doing that you cannot be ignored, and then use the tools to help you take it to the next level.
If you want to learn how to stop being poor, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are right now. The people you listen to, the media that you consume, the habits that you do daily, all of them